Welcome back. Welcome to the Convene with the Strategy Team podcast. I am Tameshia Weaver.
And I am Christi Farmer.
Hey, and look, this is a show. If you are just tuning in, this is a show where you're going to learn all things business. We're here to really serve you, right? We're here to serve the person who is either starting business or are looking to grow their business and take it to the next level and beyond. So I'm super excited. We are recording again.
Yeah.
Feels good.
It does feel good.
This actually starting to feel like home.
Seriously. I was going to come in here today and ask that refrigerator.
Right.
Right.
We need to make sure that we could make that happen for the next time. Because you're right. It does get a little bit much when, waking up in the morning. I know for me, I'm not so much of a breakfast person, but I do need a little something to snack on if I'm not going to be eating until later on in the afternoon, right?
Right.
So we've got to ask that question.
Yes, and I had the intermittent fasting going on. I'm using this app called Simple, and so my breakfast today, it starts based on whenever I go to my last meal. So I think my last meal yesterday was 8 o'clock. So my first meal today is 10 o'clock. So I basically ate breakfast on the way here. It was 2 scrambled eggs, half a grapefruit. It needs to be a meat, so I did chicken sausage.
Nice.
Yeah, it's working great because I've been told before, don't eat after 6 p.m. I'm like, that just doesn't work for me when I'm up to midnight.
Right.
And so the intermittent fasting means what time I eat in the morning is based on what time my last meal is at the end of the day.
See, I never heard it like that.
Yeah.
Most times when I hear it, it's like, okay, don't eat between 11 and 6. Or that's when you can't eat between 11 and 6. So I've never heard it put that way, and I'm going to look into it. Simple.
Yeah, simple app. And it's been amazing for me. But so in addition to that, let me tell you what else has been amazing.
Okay.
These eyebrows.
And I was going to ask you, how about these eyebrows? How was your week? Because those look amazing.
Thank you. And they're actually going through the peeling stage. I've never had a tattoo, so this is basically like
your first tattoo.
My first tattoo. So I don't know anything about this whole peeling stage. And I'm glad the person that I ended up choosing to go to get it done gave me this is what's going to happen days 1. It's like a little picture that I have on my bathroom sink right now to remind myself, chill out, you're in day 7, you're supposed to be doing this, and then day 8 through this, supposed to be doing this. So that's been good, because otherwise I've been like,
what's going on? And I need my money back. Right.
Exactly.
You know what? The funny thing is, she's probably had that happen a few times, where she's like, I need to let people know up front what to expect, and that's really that's cool.
Because otherwise then she'll have bad reviews on her Google review or everywhere on Facebook.
Day 5 I started peeling.
Right. And she didn't tell me this. And then, other people who have had it will probably come on and be like, oh, this is what happens. This is normal. Speaking of, I called people who follow me, my girlfriend.
Yes.
I went off on my girlfriend because I was like, why did y'all not tell me about this microblading? I have been here waking up every day doing these eyebrows, and y'all sitting over here they were commenting, oh, I've had mine since 2015. 2015. I literally thought I was doing something innovative. I thought this is something that just started last year, 2 years ago. People have been doing microblading and getting tattoos on their eyebrows for years.
I had no idea. Even a lot of the permanent makeup. I was telling you, the lady I know, when I walked in, she was doing permanent eyeliner. So I guess permanent makeup has been a thing. I just think that now, like everything else, it's way more accessible.
Right.
It used to be just for the creme de la creme, the people that have it or whatever. But now I think it's just for, the average person.
And I do think it probably used to cost probably a lot more than it does now. And they probably have improved the process over the years, which makes it something that can be more affordable for the everyday woman. So speaking of the everyday woman, how I found the person that I chose to go with was I made a Facebook post. I can always rely on my Facebook friends, my followers, to give me the cake person, the nail person, the stylist. If I have a question about who can do
where to go for date night.
Seriously, they give great stuff. So I was
follow you.
So I put out who can do microblading. So I got a list of people. They were tagging people, and one was a celebrity person. She's done Atlanta Housewives eyebrows. She was booked out until August, which is
must be nice.
4 or 5 months from now, and I'm I'm trying to get this done and the healing process before I go to Aruba. So that's not gonna work. And then there was one person whose calendar, she was available the next week. Now, first I'm skeptical. Why are you open?
Right.
Why is your calendar available?
Right.
And I, read the reviews. I looked at who recommended. Yeah, I looked at who recommended. Okay. Because sometimes I'll get recommendations like, oh, my cousin does this. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you're recommending your cousin, but you've never used the services. Right. You just know they do it. You don't know if it's good. You don't know the quality of it. Like, you just like, I'm just supporting my family because I know she does this. Mm-hmm. So I had to look at who, and like, I did look at their eyebrows. Okay. Because you might think they're great, but your eyebrows suck, then I don't want who you recommended because what you think is good isn't good to me. Exactly. So I took all that in consideration. What I did find, because it's like a 2-hour process, so you're sitting there and you don't have anything to do but to talk to the person who's in my face. And I realized that her calendar was open because she does so many other things. Right. Like, she said her husband do taxes, that she's in an MLM for vacations, she does trips, and then they have like a trucking company. Okay. So she does a lot of different things. And it did lead me to think about how I even chose her, because I was going to their websites and saw how I knew their calendar was available, right? Like, I knew the person was booked out to August because I was able to go to her link that somebody shared with me. And because she was tagged on Facebook, I went to her Facebook. Right. Her link to her website was right there in her bio. I had to search through
professional
all her kids.
Check.
I had to search through all her kids' posts and all that to find out. I went to her page. Her page had her calendar on it. I could click on what I wanted done and see that not available till August. Okay. Another person who lived, cause I love people who live near me, was in May. She wasn't available till May, so I couldn't go with her. And the third person was
next week.
All of them had calendars, which I like that process. I had to sit and wait for them, because if they had a full-time job and this was their side thing, I'm available during the day. So I'm messaging people in the middle of 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 7 o'clock, and 8 o'clock in the morning. If you're working a full-time job, you may not get back to me until the next day.
Or you may not even see the DM.
Exactly, exactly. So these people had a way for me to check on their availability, which was really good to me. And leads to me was something that we talked about, which is the marketing piece, right? That's really big, whether people realize it or not, when they're starting their business or they're trying to go to the next level in their business, is marketing. Now, you happen to have a marketing guru that you lay with every night. Right. And yourself were before he even came into the picture.
Yeah, before we even had Car Hops, we had LT Marketing and Designs. Right. So we were the ones that were, behind the scenes, making sure that the companies who we serve, the clients who we serve, can be seen, can be found, So to the point, one thing that I truly believe is that, of course, when you're starting out, you're going to have to wear all the hats, right? You're going to be the head of marketing, you're going to be the head of HR, you're going to be the head of operations, you're going to be all those heads. But the goal is to be able to bring people in and let them operate in their areas of expertise. So I feel like that should be everyone's goal, to kind of, let things go. But to the point, we would love to find the clients, or the clients who would find us, that says, I'm good at cooking. I'm good at baking. I'm good at whatever. I just need the clients. Those are the best ones, because they're not coming in telling you how they think you should market. They're being great, and they're letting you, do what you do. So before this show, we were talking, and I loved how you said that when you think about marketing, and it's interesting because you are an educator. So that's where I was like, oh my God, this makes so much freaking sense. How you think about marketing is the market. And tell us about, how you think about that.
Well, this is the elementary background. I really do take things down to the very basics. And when I think of marketing, I think of market. And I picture the market in the old days, which I shop now in DeKalb County in Georgia at the farmer's market. And when you go to market, I picture you have your 10 by 10 as a business, your section, your small area, that thousands of people will be coming into this market. And somehow you need to not pick, because all 1,000 are not your customer. You need to somehow figure out how you're going to get all those people walking past you, your people, your target market, the people who are going to want your product or your service, to pick your booth, like the pick me, you're sitting there, and how are they gonna? Because even when I've done vending events, my setup would bring people to me, right? And I would literally be able to get away with sitting in the back and letting people come in instead of having to stand there. Some people you'll see who stand out there and be like, "Come on over here," and they flag people out. I didn't have to do that, because I took consideration. When they walk by, what would attract my customer into this? I also took into consideration location, right? Most of my customers are moms. And so when I would go to a vending, I'd see where the kids booth set up, right? Kids are going to pull, mommy, look at this, look at this, look at this. I need to be next to that booth.
Right.
I need to be next to the toys, next to the car, whatever is going to attract the kids.
Or next to the bathrooms.
Or next to the bathroom, right. Because their kid is going to have to go to it. They don't matter how many times you're going to use this bathroom before we leave the house. Before we go, don't get out here.
Mom.
Right. Or even the food, like the popcorn, the things that cotton candy, things that kids are going to be like, mom. And then their mom is going to be peeking out over at my booth. Right. So that's how I look at marketing. Whether we're in a social media age where people may not physically walk past your booth, but Facebook, Instagram, YouTube is a marketplace full of thousands, millions of people. How are you getting them to come into your booth?
Out of all that noise.
Because everybody doesn't need to come into your booth, right? We'll get frustrated with certain customers because they're not who we need to be marketing to. Right. So that's how I look at it. That's when everybody says marketing, I go back to that thought process. That was perfect.
And it really brings in the fact that, so you have to consider the product or service that you're selling, right? You got the position. So like you said, where are you going to be selling this, and and really with position too, it also plays a part, and I think we talked about this in a previous episode, which is, are you the Walmart brand or are you the Neiman Marcus brand? You know, so that's all also a part of position. But then also the place, like you said, where are they going to be? Where do they shop? Who do they listen to? What type of life do they live? Are they high stress? Are they low stress? I mean, all these different things you have to take into account of, and then really just providing the service. So providing it in a way that that it's like palatable for them, that they want to be able to see it. So when you said that, I was like, that sums it up in like one just scenario, and I think everybody can understand, because most people have gone to a market, whether it's been a flea market, whether it's been the DeKalb farmers market, where there's been the hair shows. Like, people have gone to markets, and you got to think, even to yourself, what makes you stop and look and give something a second thought, because now this is one of the things that we pointed out too, is that when you actually go and vend at a market, or like I told you, next week I'm going to help my godmother vend at a market, the number one thing isn't to sell. I feel like people get discouraged when they go into a place. They've paid $750 or $1,000 for a booth. They've bought additional products. They've stocked up on products, stocked on the decor and all of this stuff. And then when they get there, they may have sold $500 worth of things. But I don't think that that's the way that we should go into this, into looking at it. And, let me know what you were saying when it comes to, like, what's your number one goal when you go to markets?
Oh, my number one goal is, like, my product sells itself, right? I'm going to sell product. But my number one goal is the money after that. How is this vending event, this opportunity, going to continue to make me money? How am I going to continue to be able to help the customer that came in and saw me this one time? How will I get in front of them continuously after this? And so it's like collecting their information, and one way to collect them information, which is the adding value. What can I give them? Yes. So I usually give something away at the vending event.
Now, do you give everybody something, or do you do like the drawing? I
do the drawing.
Okay. Yep. So they can get like this big basket or get whatever.
Yeah. And
credit.
sometimes I'll have a basket set up there as an example of either you'll get this or you'll get something like this if you enter to the raffle. And when they're entering, and we were doing like literally pencil and paper, but now it's a digital age where they can scan what's not a barcode,
the QR code.
They scan the QR code and they enter the information that they need, and then I would put on there that complete entries go into it, because somebody will just put their name and their email address, but I need more
phone
than
that.
I need phone number, telephone number, whatever. So complete things. So it's great that they don't complete it all the way, because I'm still getting some information, but then I don't have to give anything away to you because you didn't complete all information. So that's a win on my end, because I got the email, but I said I wanted the email, the phone number. And so that's literally what I would say for people now, is don't just think about that one. It's literally, that's the market example, right? But that's literally the same thing that works for Facebook. If that's how the avenue that you're choosing to market your product or service to people is, what will you give them when they come to your market? Your Facebook page, your Instagram page is your market space. What are you going to give them to collect their information before they leave that marketplace? And that's literally, they come to your Instagram, they find your Instagram however they did, their Facebook however they did, their YouTube however they did, and they may not come back ever again. But how are you going to position yourself to give them information or to collect their information so that you can find them again? What bothers me a lot is when I buy a product from somebody one time and I'm thinking to myself, if they would just send me an email or text message,
remind me,
I guarantee you I'd spend it again. But right now, I don't even know how to find this person again. Like, I will put on like this shirt, for example, and I'd be like, oh, I really wish I could remember where this came from because I want to buy more stuff from them. But they haven't emailed me no more. They haven't texted me anymore. They haven't, like, quarterly. If they just did it quarterly, I'd go back and buy it again.
And you're so right. So literally, to this day, I'm looking for this young lady who sold me some hair at a vending machine, at a trade show. It was the natural hair show, right? Sold me the hair. This is the best curly, like, just my natural texture hair that I could ever find. I had a wig made out of it, and I will never be able to find something close to it. So I'm trying to find this girl. I went back through my email. I'm like,
I've done the same thing with lots of things.
Right. So that actually goes into this point, though. So even though we do the great job of either setting up the QR code, or if you want to still be old school and you want to provide the clipboards with the pen and pad and you want people to put your information down, we do a great job about collecting the information, but then what happens next? So the reason why I'm really big on email list, especially when it comes to car hops. I'm really big on that. I'm big on email. I'm also big on having your number for text messages, but I am finding that I think people are changing numbers like they changing draws, because I'm like, I will get a reply back like, take me off your list. This is not, whoever.
Well, and I think that goes to who you're serving too, right? Because in your industry, in the company you have car hops where you're doing food delivery to people, depending on, because this is what I'm imagining. I'm imagining that you might be working with somebody who's a secretary in, like, the building may be a nice executive building, but they may be a temporary person, right? So they go from building to building to building, and they didn't have their lunch this day, so they're calling car hops to bring it to this building this one time. But that may be the kind of person who will have a different phone number the next time, right? And so I think that's important to know who you're, right? Whereas my customers, I have probably had the same phone number like me since high school.
You've had your number since high school? Well, don't say that.
Not this number. Now, I do have my number from high school. I ported it to a Google Voice, so it still does exist. Okay. But this number I currently have, I had since I moved back from overseas.
Yeah, I don't know if I want people to find me since high school.
And they don't. Like, you would think, like, anybody can find me. I haven't had anybody reach out to, probably because I'm on social media too, so they're going to go there before they go to a number from high school. Right. But my point is, like, my customers are going to have the same number for a long time. So texting would work for me. But that's the how you're coming to market and know how you're pulling out of those millions of people. What do you need to do? That's why listening to this, and I may say, well, text messages are going to work for me. My people are going to do the same thing. And somebody who's listening, that may not work for your market, where it may or may not work for yours, where email may not work. But I know I jumped in on that one.
Well, because I was going to say, so like I said, the biggest things for us is to collect emails, phone numbers for text, and we need you to download our app, because with the push notifications, one, it costs me to email you, it costs me to text you, but it does not cost me to push a notification to your app. So those are the top three things. And I feel like, when you're looking at your market, you need to figure out what is it that you immediately want from them. So like you said, you collect emails and phone numbers. Again, I collect email, phone numbers, and then I want you to download the app. I push you to that next step. But when you do that, you got the information. You got to make sure that you do something with it.
Yes.
And the easiest thing, and I know we're going to talk about this in another show, but the easiest thing to do is to at least set up the first 3 emails automated.
Right.
Because at least once you put them back into your system now, again, so it does take time for you to enter these contacts from either the QR system, code system that you're using, or the manual, written. You're going to have to enter it into your email platform and your text messaging platform. But once you do, and you already have it automated, the first part of the first 3 steps are done. Right. So they're going to hear from you. They're going to be reminded. They're going to, remember you at least for those first 3 times. Now, I also will say too, we're all in this day and age, we're all about building our our foundation on somebody else's platforms, right? So that's why, it's great to have, 100,000 or 1 million followers on Instagram. And I've actually worked with a few clients that's what, they glorified the fact that they had all of these people. But then the very, next year, it was snatched from them. Now you can get verified on Instagram, so it's a little harder. It should, we don't know, but it should be a little harder for somebody to hack your account. Facebook,
it's paid, so it used to be.
Do you have to pay for both Instagram and Facebook?
I don't know. I haven't done it
Come
yet.
on, Meta.
I haven't done that. It used to be a verification thing where it was free, but now for Facebook, you can get a blue check and pay for it as a monthly thing. Which
a monthly subscription?
Listen. If Facebook is your moneymaker,
yes,
and it's bringing you lots of money,
right,
and you don't want to risk, because I've had people who make hundreds of thousands of dollars on Facebook, lose their page for the whole account going, they had to start over from scratch, and they make hundreds of thousands of dollars just from their time being on Facebook sharing their product, and to start all over, first she had to go through a time period of oh my God, what am I gonna?
I don't know what
am I gonna do? Well, for her, it'd be so worth paying $15 a month. I don't even know how much it is, but if it's $15 a month, it's worth her paying $15 a month to secure not losing her Facebook page over something like that when it brings her in hundreds of thousands of dollars at on a time.
But
period.
I also hope that this person has an email list
and she did.
Well, I was gonna say because. I remember when I had my first clothing store, I was marketing on MySpace.
Right, and aging yourself, baby.
Well, welcome to the 40/40 Club, ladies. So I was building my business and marketing my products. I had a brick and mortar store, but then I also, wanted to show people to, get them into the store. I would put pictures and sales and stuff on there. And I go back to that MySpace page now because I still have access to it. I was Brown Sugar. What's my name? So I still go back to that page, but I often think, when will something else come and replace the Facebook or the Instagram or the, I don't know. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to think.
Does Periscope still exist? Periscope used to be a thing.
Yeah, no, and I was never on Periscope.
I wasn't either, but
it was a thing, right? And they blew up off of that. Yeah. So. One thing that I think you will always have access to is emails. Again, I think, phone numbers, change and stuff, but you'll still be able to contact them until it does. So I always just urge people to, yes, of course, keep building your brand on those platforms because that is super dope, but also kind of bring it back to something that you will always be able to have. Because again, to the point, let's just say something happens, I have 100,000 followers on my Facebook or on my Instagram and something happens. But if I have 50,000 people on my email list, I can email them and say, "Hey, look,
find me here. This is where I'm at.
This is what happened," and then at least you can get a percentage of those people to come back and follow you, on those various platforms. So I always just say, yes, keep doing what you're doing, but making sure that you have something that you're going to have that is yours.
Right. I like how you talked about the app. Because I was thinking, when you were saying your customers may change their telephone numbers, the one thing that we do know is when they change their telephone numbers, when they get a new phone, that phone breaks, the first thing you do is go download all the apps. Right. They download all them apps. So if your app was one of them that was on there, that app is going to be added back to the new number, to the new phone carrier, to the new cell phone. So that's definitely a great way to fix the issue that you saw was their numbers are changed. I still need to be able to reach these people.
And you got to think about it too. You're really not annoyed if you get push notifications. We're so used to them now. We look at them real quick and we're swiping down.
Right.
Or and it's so funny because with push notifications, you can't necessarily touch it and it goes to something.
Right.
So when you swipe it down, it's over. It's done. But people do get annoyed and want to be taken off of your text message marketing list and your email marketing list. So if you're in an industry that you can, and everything can have an app now, so really you can be in an industry, but if you're in an industry where an app would serve your audience, I definitely say, especially because it's not as expensive as it used to be.
Right.
And there's different ways that you can do it really affordable. Just starting out, go ahead and do that because again, you can offer your community of people something different than the random person on the street. So,
right. So I'm just going to add one thing and then I'll let you give some last moments, and then we can wrap this one up, because we
Yes.
definitely got some more points to go on for the automation part, which is really key. I definitely want to talk about that some more. But I was thinking about your point of just doing something, because we think about, I know someone just starting out who's working a full-time job and is trying to build their brand up, trying to get marketing out, trying to increase the marketing. It's like, who has time to send these emails? But when I think about what we were both talking about, of people that we've, like the lady you shop with the hair, and you haven't gotten any emails from her, right? And you even looked back and searched through your emails. So if she just sent 4 emails a year, 1 each quarter, that when you thought about her and you went to go look through your emails, you'd at least be able to find an old one. And so I just want to impress upon people, like, don't think about what you don't have time for. If you're doing nothing, a beginning spot or a beginning place to start would do 1 a quarter.
1 a quarter.
1 a quarter. You can do a sale each quarter. You can let them know what's new in this quarter. You can put out something about the season, because the thing about quarter is, like, winter season.
You have something new to talk about.
If it's hair, people do something different for the winter season than they do with their hair for the summer season, spring season, fall season. For colors, for any industry where you're selling clothes, jewelry,
there's always something new to talk about. Every
season is a new color. There's something to, like, what you're wearing to the beach is going to be different than what you're wearing to Christmas. And so you can put out teaching them, so because you definitely want to add value. So you want to put out something like a tip on how to wear your hair in springtime, and then at the bottom, and these are the products that we have to help you with that. And so quarterly is better than nothing.
Well, and back to that point, this is kind of be my final thought on this. So 2 things. Just because I don't open all of my emails, I use my email, because what I do is when I give out my email address, it's one that it's kind of like my spam email, right? I can give that email out because that person asked me for it, and I was interested at one point for their product or service. So what I use it for is I use it as a search engine, right? So especially Google is my favorite. Now I probably need to go and up my storage, because it keeps telling me you have right. So I have to go through and, like, clean out my junk and stuff like that. But to the point though, like if I'm going to shop at Express, right? I will, before I go into the Express store, I'll search in my email Express to see if they've sent me a coupon, to see if they sent me, if I got any type of credits or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I use it that way. And then the other, because I have a separate email that I use for, like, when I sign up for business blogs and business things. So if it's something, let's just say I want to, talk about refunds or something like that, I'll go in and I'll put in refunds. And if somebody has ever sent me something, a blog, or a letter or whatever that has to do with that particular topic, then I can dig in that way. You know what I'm saying? So don't just, if the people that are sending me the emails are looking at their open rates and they're like, oh, well, nobody's opening my emails, they may not open it right then, but at some point, they may go back to it. Right. So just don't ever let open rates discourage you from being consistent. Right, from showing up, from putting it out there. From showing up. I think this was a great episode about marketing and taking yourself to market, how you want to present yourself at the market. And if I would encourage encourage everyone going forward, is think about where you feel most comfortable at in the market. So if you feel most comfortable, that's the first place to start with. There are lots of places you can be: Instagram, Facebook, a storefront. Start with where you're comfortable showing up, and as you grow in your comfortable spot, then you can hire people that will show up in places you're not comfortable at. So if you're comfortable on Facebook and Facebook Live is your thing, then go to Facebook, go live, and then grow there where you're comfortable showing up to the market, because that's your market. And then later on, create a budget for somebody else who can show up for you at Instagram, for someone who can show up for you at YouTube. But start one place at the market, your market, where you want to show up for people at, and then join us back here for the next step at convening with the strategy team. Great job. Yes. Let's do it.